On Friday, the 10th of December 1909, the newly built steamship the Francis went down the slipways of the Clyde Home shipyard of Glasgow shipbuilders Barclay Curle. She was completed in January 1910 for her new owners, the Booth Steamship Company of Liverpool. 355 feet long, 3,700 gross register tons, she had a triple expansion engine driving a single screw for a top speed of 11 knots. The Booth line used her as a collier, carrying cargoes of coal around the British Isles, until they sold her in 1931 to Moller and Company of Shanghai. They renamed her Rosalie Moller and used her to carry cargoes of coal around the coasts of China. But crucially, they kept her British registration, and that allowed her to be requisitioned by the Admiralty in 1939 and bring her home to resume working as a collier, again mostly around the British Isles, though she did venture to Gibraltar once or twice. Then, in mid-1941, she was loaded with 4,680 tons of best Welsh coal and sailed under Captain James Byrne for Alexandria, where the coal was urgently needed for dockyard machinery, railway locomotives, merchant shipping, and much else for the war effort. Enemy aircraft had made the Mediterranean too dangerous for routine merchant shipping, so Byrne took her all the way around Africa. Calling at Durban, and then Aden, before heading up the Red Sea to safe Anchorage H, Gubal Island, where she dropped anchor on the 6th of October 1941. 2 nights later, German Heinkel 111 aircraft of Kampfgeschwader 26, based on Crete, attacked Anchorage H. A single bomb struck Rosalie Moller on her starboard side, doing little real damage, but opening a massive gash in her hull, and she began to go down. She took an hour to sink, giving her crew time to take to the boats, all but 2 men who'd been killed in the attack, as Captain Byrne later reported. And then she was forgotten, until she was rediscovered by scuba divers in the late 1990s. Today, Rosalie Moller sits behind the Gubal Islands. She can be dived by dayboat from Elguna or Hurghada, but is more often part of a liverboard wreck safari. Liverboards moor in the shelter of Bluff Point and will make a very early start to reach the wreck. Where the dive guides will tie in. Your boat will be placed above the wreck, bow to bow, and there'll be a line from your stern to the rear of the wreck and another line from your bow to the front of the wreck. Very often there'll be a second bow line as well. Exactly where your guides will tie in does vary. The wreck itself is very like her pictures, though the masts and funnel have now collapsed. There are no currents here, but the viz can be limited by Red Sea standards, and she's a little deeper at 35 metres to her deck and almost 50 to the seabed, so check your insurance covers you. Don't let that put you off. She's a straightforward dive and there's a huge amount to see. A no-stop dive here will last 25 to 30 minutes in total. If you want to make a deco dive, agree it with your guides first. Step into the water and follow the stern line down. And when you get to the wreck, make a note of where you're tied in. This is on the mooring bit at the stern. Here it's on a cargo winch between the after holds. Orientate yourself on the wreck and then head towards the stern. This is part of her steering gear. To see the prop and rudder, just swim over the stern rail and drop down. You'll be between 42 and 46 metres here. On the port side, heading forward. Opposite that spare anchor is a galley. A little further forward, the fore and after mast, with winches between the holds. Beyond the holds is the main accommodation. There's a second galley here. There are rooms either side of the ship here. The wooden decking and dividers are long gone, and you can swim through or over. Further on, the funnel, collapsed to port. Then the bridge. On 2 levels, the decks and dividing walls and machinery are long gone, replaced by thick clouds of fish. Further on, you'll pass the 2 forward holds. That's a bow line to the dive boat above. The fall and foremast between the holds. These 3 deck houses are close to the bow. Drop over the port side of the bow to view the anchor. You can ascend either the bow or stern lines to make any stops. If you have ascended a bow line, you'll find it's more comfortable to swim back to your dive ladders at 2 or 3 metres rather than on the surface. The bomb damage is on her starboard side between the holds. Your stern line will usually be nearby. Swim in and go left. Against the hull are a pair of cabins. Enter this door. The dividing wall to the next cabin has gone, so you can exit without turning round. Then go left, further toward the stern, where you'll find these ventilator cowls and oil lamps. Follow the hull around and you'll be heading forward. Across the remains of her cargo of coal. When you get to this bulkhead, pass through and you'll be on top of the engine. Then go left to the ladder and through the door at the top. Turn right left and up. You'll come out just behind the bridge. There's still a huge amount to see on the wreck. Ship's fittings, and amazing fish life. Rosalie Moller really needs multiple dives, and you can start planning your next dive whilst you're off gassing